All right, so get this. Ready to have your mind blown? We're diving deep, deep, deep into some seriously trippy stuff today.
Oh, I love a good deep dive. Lay it on me.
So just imagine reality is code, like the Matrix.
Okay, yeah, I'm with you.
But it's constantly writing and rewriting itself.
Mm.
That's the core, the very essence of the Ouroboros code. Reality is digital alchemy, self-simulation, bridging science and spirituality.
Wow, that title alone, right? So who wrote this?
It's by Antonin Teinman, PhD.
Never heard of.
Well, hold on, because get this. This book is it blends physics and philosophy, computer science, even a dash of spirituality.
Really? No, that's a combo. And you said spirituality? Like,
Oh, we're going to get to all that. But you're in for a wild ride because, check it out, cyberneticist Alex M. Vikolov, he wrote the foreword.
no way. Seriously, Vikolov. All right, color me intrigued.
Trust me, these ideas, they feel more relevant by the day.
Yeah.
Especially with everything that's going on these days.
Okay, I'm hooked. So tell me more. Like, what's the big idea?
Okay, so Tuneman, he has this really strange experience. He finds this book, right?
Okay.
Also called the Ouroboros Code, in a Parisian bookstall.
What? No way. That's so weird.
I know, right? And the book describes reality, get this, as self-modifying code, eerily mirroring Tuneman's own work and life experiences.
Whoa. So it's like reality was sending him a message.
Exactly. What if it's trying to tell us something? Have you ever felt that? Like the universe is trying to tell you something?
All the time. It's called synchronicity. And, Vikolov, in his foreword, he connects this whole thing, Tuneman's experience, to the idea of a panpsychic quantum self-computing conscious system.
Hold up. Say that again, but slowly.
A panpsychic quantum self-computing conscious system. Basically thoughts, like they can actually, influence reality. And those ripples come back to us. It's karma, baby.
Wait, whoa. Are you saying, my thoughts could be shaping the world around me?
You got it.
Right.
Pretty powerful, huh?
That's a lot of responsibility.
It is. But it's not, about individual control. The book really emphasizes a non-dualistic, a oneness. Like the separation of self and other, totally an illusion.
Okay, so it's not like I could just, wish for $1 million and it'll just poof, appear, right?
Right.
But there's this, deeper connection between, my inner world and the world out there. It makes you wonder about, knowledge, truth. Can we ever really know anything for sure?
That's the $1 million question, isn't it?
Well, the book, it goes deep into the, the limitations of our traditional systems of knowledge, right?
Exactly. So we've got inductive reasoning, right? Deductive reasoning, abductive reasoning, each with their strengths and weaknesses. And then he brings up Gödel's incompleteness theorem.
Oh, come on. You're going to make me dust off my math textbook.
This is big. This is big. It shows that even math, the language of logic, has its limits.
No way. So you're telling me, there are things we'll just never know?
Potentially. It suggests there might always be truths right there, but just beyond our reach,
That's both fascinating and kind of creepy.
Well,
just how do we even know, how can we be sure we're not living in the Matrix?
That's where digital physics comes in. It explores this idea that the universe, that it might be fundamentally informational at its core. Remember John Wheeler?
Vaguely.
Yeah.
Refresh my memory.
His concept of it from bit. Reality emerging from bits of information.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Or think about Eric Verlin's theory, entropic gravity. Gravity as a consequence of information processing.
Hold up. You're blowing my mind here. So, gravity is just information.
Whoa, right. And get this. James Gates, physicist, he found error-correcting code embedded in, get this, the equations of supersymmetry.
Error-correcting code? In a computer program? You're kidding me.
Nope. It's as if the universe, the whole thing, is running on cosmic software.
So it's like saying the map and the territory, they're one and the same. Like with RNA, right? Where it's both the carrier of genetic information and a molecule that actually does stuff.
That's a brilliant connection. It totally blurs the lines between information, action, which is exactly what the Ouroboros code is getting at, but at a cosmic scale.
Okay, get ready for this next one. This one's a doozy. This one's straight out of science fiction. The book, it argues that sentience, awareness, it might not be limited to biological life forms.
Whoa, hold on. My houseplant is secretly judging my taste in furniture.
But maybe not that, but Teinman, he gets into this concept, autopoiesis. Self-creation.
Self-creation.
Yeah, like what if atoms, what if molecules, right? They exhibit this quality of autopoiesis.
Hmm.
They maintain their structure, they respond to their environment, they interact in all these complex ways. Is that really so different from what we call life?
That's a great question. What is life, anyway?
So maybe sentience, it exists on a spectrum, right? And it's not just about having a brain, but like a fractal where consciousness is expressed like everywhere at every level, tiny particles to the whole shebang.
That's a really cool way to visualize it. Challenges us to reconsider everything, right? What does it mean to be alive, to be aware? The whole game changes.
And now buckle up. This is where things get really interesting, at least for me. It's all about the role of language. The book, it suggests that language, it's not just how we, communicate. It's fundamental to how we actually experience reality.
Okay, I'm listening.
Like language, it creates the I that feels separate from everything else. So like, what if our sense of self, what if it's just a linguistic construct?
Whoa, dude, that's deep.
Right.
So language gives us the ability to, categorize things, to differentiate, to create this, like, duality, me versus not me.
Right, exactly. And it gets even weirder. The book has this fascinating example about cultures that couldn't even, like, distinguish the color blue until they had a word for it. Their perception was literally shaped by language.
That's wild. I mean, that's really making me think.
So language, it creates the lens through which we see the world. So what happens, right? What happens if we, like, change the lens?
That's what the Ouroboros Code is all about. Exploring different ways of perceiving, interacting, like hacking reality, man.
This is already, like, totally blowing my mind, and we're just getting started. What happens when we start questioning the very nature of self, of reality? It's going to be good.
So we're talking about, like, questioning the self. The Ouroboros Code, it really challenges this whole idea of, a fixed, separate self. It's saying what we perceive as separation, totally an illusion.
Okay, so we're all, like, connected, part of this bigger web. But how do we even begin to grasp that? Our minds, like, they're so good at breaking things down, like categories, divisions. It's how we make sense of the world, right?
Right. Tyneman, he uses this analogy of Maya, like a veil. It's obscuring, the true nature of reality. It's trippy stuff.
Maya, like illusion.
Exactly. Our analytical minds, it's like, imagine seeing a cloud of dots and you connect some to make a shape, right?
Okay, yeah, I get it.
You might see a square, someone else, they see a circle, but it's all just dots, man. We get so fixated on the shapes, we forget about the underlying unity. It's all connected.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Okay, so how do we, like, lift the veil? How do we see past the illusion? Is there, like, a secret decoder ring or something?
Well, the book, it suggests this meditative technique. It's called Panchadasi. It involves, like, contemplating a topic, anything from 15 different perspectives.
15, that sounds like a lot of work.
It's worth it. By seeing the same thing through multiple lenses, we can, like, loosen the grip of those analytical minds and start to, experience that interconnectedness of everything. It's all one, man.
That's incredible. It's like expanding your awareness, seeing the bigger picture.
Yeah.
But what about, like, the real world, right? All the complexities, the challenges, the struggles, all that stuff. Is there a way to actually apply this wisdom, make it practical?
That's what the Ouroboros Code is all about. One way is by understanding how intelligence works, human and artificial. And guess what? It goes beyond just algorithms.
Algorithms, like in computers.
Exactly. They're great for, routine tasks.
Yeah.
But they struggle with novelty, adaptability, that human touch.
So, like, our computers, they're amazing at crunching numbers, but they can't, like, write a poem or compose music.
Exactly. Think about it. The creative process, it's messy, it's intuitive, it's full of chance, these unexpected insights, aha moments,
I love those. So where do algorithms fit in then?
Okay, so this is where Tyneman brings in this concept he calls Nature's Intelligence Meta-Algorithm, or NIMA for short.
NIMA. Okay, I like it.
Right, catchy, right. It outlines the steps involved in generating complexity, showing us how nature innovates and evolves. It's brilliant.
But isn't NIMA just another algorithm? Does that mean we're all just running on a program?
That's where it gets really, really interesting. NIMA, it's a tool. It's a description of a process, but it's not the totality of intelligence itself. There's something more, something that transcends the purely algorithmic.
I think I'm starting to get it. So it's like having a recipe for a cake. It guides you, but it doesn't, like, bake the cake itself.
Yes, exactly. There's something more to the equation, something mysterious, magical even.
Okay, I'm ready. hit me with the really mind-blowing stuff. Tiemann, he talks about this concept, this eschaton. What is that exactly? Is it like a monster or something?
Haha, no, no, no. Imagine this. A universal neural network encompassing like all of existence, the ultimate culmination of intelligence and consciousness. That's the eschaton. It draws on ideas from like Teilhard de Chardin, Frank Tipler, Terence McKenna, heavy hitters.
A universal neural network. Whoa. Wouldn't that be like incredibly overwhelming? How could something process all the experiences of all those beings? It would just like explode.
That's a question that pushes us to the very limits of our understanding. Maybe the eschaton, it processes information in ways we can't even fathom, like some kind of cosmic abstraction, extracting meaning from this vast sea of data.
So like the universe it's constantly learning, evolving, integrating like the experiences of every single particle, every single being. That's a lot.
That's the implication, yeah. And it leads us to another mind bender, the panlinguistic apotheosis. Basically, it suggests that reality is fundamentally linguistic, meaning language in its broadest sense, it underpins everything.
Hold on. So it's not just that we use language to describe reality, but that reality itself like is a form of language.
Think of it like this. Music is a language of sound, math, a language of numbers. And the laws of physics, they're like the grammar of the universe. Everything's vibrating, resonating, communicating in this grand cosmic symphony.
Whoa, that's beautiful. So are we like cosmic composers shaping the symphony with our thoughts and actions?
In a way, yeah. The book suggests that understanding this panlinguistic nature, it allows us to become like engineers of Leela, shaping the code through our awareness and intentions.
Okay, this is all getting pretty abstract. How do we bring this down to earth, connected to our everyday experiences?
That's where Tiemann brings in alchemy, this ancient practice, right?
Yeah.
He uses it as a metaphor, this powerful metaphor for the journey of self-realization.
Alchemy, like turning lead into gold.
Think of it as like a symbolic map for your personal and spiritual growth. A guide through this intricate labyrinth of consciousness.
Okay. I'm intrigued. Walk me through it. Where does it all begin?
First stage. It's called calcinatio, a process of purification. Like the old self, it's broken down, ego structures, they're challenged, and we confront the raw materials of our being. It's like a fire burning away impurities.
Intense, like a metaphorical trial by fire.
Yeah.
So what happens after we've been through the flames? What's next?
That leads to dissolution or solutio.
Yeah.
Here, the purified essence from calcinatio, it's breaking down further, separated. It's like dissolving a solid in water.
Yeah.
It's about loosening the grip of, those fixed identities, exploring different facets of our being. It's beautiful.
So we're becoming more fluid, adaptable, open to new possibilities.
You got it. And this sets the stage for separation or separatio. It's about discerning the different elements within ourselves, right? The light and shadow aspects. Recognizing how our thoughts, emotions, motivations, they shape our experience. We start to see the patterns.
So we're gaining self-awareness.
Yeah.
Becoming more conscious of the forces at play within us.
Precisely. And from this heightened awareness, we move into conjunction. Or conjunctio. This is where integration begins. We bring those separated aspects of ourselves, we bring them into harmony. We find balance between opposing forces. We recognize the interconnectedness of all things. It's powerful stuff.
So it's like taking all those puzzle pieces, right, and putting them together to reveal a more complete picture.
Yes, it's about creating a sense of wholeness, recognizing that we are more than just the sum of our parts.
What happens next? Does this integration, does it lead to a sense of completion?
Not quite. The next stage is putrefaction. Fermentation. It's often associated with decay, breakdown, but in the alchemical sense, it's about transformation. It's a surrender to the process of change, letting go of control, allowing the old self to die so that something new can emerge.
So even after achieving a sense of wholeness, there's still a need for further transformation.
Think of it like composting, right? We take all the stuff we've broken down and we let it decompose so it can nourish new growth. It's about creating fertile ground for new possibilities.
I love that. So what are these new possibilities? What emerges from this decomposition?
That leads us to distillation or distillatio. It's about purification, refinement, separating the pure from the impure, the
Yeah.
essential from the non-essential. We extract the most valuable aspects of our being, the qualities that will nourish our spiritual growth. It's a beautiful process.
It's like we're distilling the essence of who we are, the most potent and valuable parts of ourselves.
Exactly. And from this distillation, we finally arrive at coagulatio, the final stage of the alchemical process. This is where the transformed self emerges, whole, integrated, a realization of our true nature, our full potential. It's incredible.
It's like a phoenix rising from the ashes, a new self,
Mhm.
reborn, transformed. It's an incredible journey. But how does this alchemical transformation, how does it relate to this larger idea of reality as code?
Remember, the Ouroboros Code, it suggests that reality is constantly evolving, constantly transforming itself through this process of self-modification. Alchemy, it mirrors this cosmic process, but on a personal level. It shows us how we can participate in this grand evolution of consciousness. It's all connected.
So we're not just observing this process. We're active participants,
Yeah.
contributing to the transformation of reality itself.
Exactly. By understanding and embodying the principles of alchemy, we can become conscious co-creators of our own lives, of the universe around us.
This is mind-blowing. We've covered so much ground already, the nature of reality, the power of language, the transformative journey of
Ugh.
alchemy, and yet there's still so much to explore. It's like we've just scratched the surface.
Okay, so wow, right. We've been on this incredible journey exploring the Ouroboros Code, this whole idea of reality as code. It's challenged everything, like our assumptions about reality, consciousness, the power of language. But I think like the big question now, for me at least, is how do we actually live with these ideas? How do
Yeah.
we, integrate all this knowledge into our everyday lives? Where do we even begin?
That's the real challenge, right?
Mhm.
Putting it all into practice.
Mhm.
The Ouroboros Code, it's not just an intellectual exercise. It's an invitation to live differently, to see the world, the whole world, with new eyes. It's a whole new perspective. So where do we even begin? It feels like overwhelming.
Yeah.
Okay, reality is code. I'm a cosmic alchemist. Great. Now what? What do I do on Monday morning?
Well, the book, it encourages us to cultivate a sense of wonder and curiosity. If reality is truly this dynamic, self-modifying code, then our understanding of what's possible, it's just scratching the surface. We're just getting started.
So it's about like embracing the mystery,
Hmm.
letting go of our need to have it all figured out. That's actually kind of liberating, isn't
It
it?
is. It's about stepping into this space of infinite potential, realizing that we're not just, passive observers, but
But
we're
actually,
active participants in shaping the code. We're writing the story.
okay, but how do we actually do that? Are there like tools, practices, things we can do to align with this idea of reality as code? Give me something concrete.
The book, it highlights several, many of them, ancient practices rediscovered, and they're becoming more and more relevant today. One of the most important, it's mindfulness, paying attention to the present moment without judgment, just being present.
So it's about becoming like more aware of our thoughts, emotions, sensations, seeing how they're shaping our experience, like being the observer.
Exactly. It's like becoming a
Right.
programmer of your own reality. Recognizing that your thoughts, your beliefs, they're like lines of code, and they're constantly influencing the program. Pretty cool, huh?
That makes a lot of sense. And what about meditation? How does that fit into all of this?
Meditation, it's another powerful tool for aligning with the Ouroboros Code. It
Yeah.
helps us quiet the mind, connect with our inner wisdom, and tap into that panpsychic network we were talking about, the interconnected web of consciousness. It's all connected.
So it's like logging onto the cosmic internet, accessing a deeper level of awareness and understanding. Whoa.
You could say that. Through meditation, we cultivate this sense of interconnectedness, and we tap into this source of creativity, inspiration that goes beyond our limited individual minds. It's pretty amazing.
This is all incredibly inspiring. But I think some people might be wondering, about the darker aspects of life,
Yeah.
right? The suffering, the challenges, all that stuff. If reality is this self-modifying code, why is there so much pain in the world?
That's a deep question. And the Ouroboros Code, it doesn't offer easy answers, but it does suggest that suffering is part of the evolutionary process. It's through confronting, transmuting suffering that we grow, we evolve both individually and collectively. It's all part of the journey.
So it's not about like denying or avoiding suffering, but seeing it as an opportunity an opportunity for growth and transformation.
Yes, exactly. Even in the midst of darkness, there's always potential for light, for healing, for creating something new, something beautiful. It's all about perspective.
This brings up another question, that's probably on a lot of people's minds.
Mhm.
What about free will? If reality is code, do we really have a choice? A choice in how we act, what we create, or we just, programmed?
The Ouroboros Code, it suggests that free will, it's more nuanced than we often think. The code, it provides a framework, a set of parameters within which we operate, but within that framework, we have choices. Our intentions, our actions, they influence the code. They shape the unfolding of events. It's a dance.
So we're not just puppets on strings, but active participants in the co-creation of reality. That's pretty empowering.
It is. It's like we're playing a game, right?
Right.
With certain rules, but within those rules, we have the freedom to make moves, to strategize, to create unexpected outcomes. It's exciting.
This has been an incredible deep dive. We've explored some truly mind-bending ideas about reality, consciousness, the power of language, but ultimately, I think the Ouroboros Code, it's a message of hope, of possibility. It's inspiring.
Absolutely. It reminds us that we're not just passive observers, in a predetermined universe, but active creators with the power to shape our reality and contribute to the evolution of consciousness itself. It's a beautiful thing.
Thank you so much for guiding us through this fascinating exploration. I think we've all gained a lot from diving into the Ouroboros Code. It's been a wild ride.
It's been my pleasure. Remember the journey. It doesn't end here. Keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep shaping the code. The possibilities are endless.
And to our listeners, we hope you've enjoyed this deep dive into the Ouroboros Code. Keep those minds open, and until next time, keep on coding your reality.
Extadelic Media.